Hello, we're back in business. Internet problems. We got a phone wobbly mount problem, looks like, too. Not a big deal. I'm not starting this saw. Uh, we've been down with our internet again. I just love satellite internet. Modem went. So you got to get your modem, you got to call in, and you wait, and they ship you a modem. But they don't ship you a tech. He has to, after you get your modem, make an appointment. He comes, does his little things, and he leaves. The internet's running. So our internet's running. We have fiber optic lines right by the house, guys. It's not going to be long, I hope. That's going to be a game changer because we really struggle getting these videos out. I want you to know that. And there's so many things happen. If you're out of your quota of data for the month, it takes forever for a video load. So you try to load them in the middle of the night. You can do that in a time thing, or do what I do, start it in the evening and just hope for the best, which works. But the hardest thing for us has been is if it's loading slow, a lot of people on the internet, our cloud goes by. All it's got to do is see a cloud. It reminds me of them Detroit diesels used to drive when they first started driving trucks. They seen a hill, they just stopped. Yeah, they did. That old 318, that wasn't so bad. The 871, that wasn't too bad. But them 238s, some old screaming demons, boy, it whined right up. And they were kind of way cool sounding. I thought they sounded good, but I liked the Cummins and the Cat better. I found that out when I finally got the chance. Well, what we got is 238 internet. Yeah, and hopefully soon. I got a phone in the background binging and banging. Somebody's popular today. That's the Suns. Okay, this is Robert Ramsden's 61 is. You seen it run, about 2 months ago? We've been trying to get this out. This video really should be called, What Do You Do When a Saw Doesn't Want to Leave? This is what it should be. This is a beautiful running saw. The man wants a saw, and I want him to have it. The saw don't want to leave. We've run that. The last couple times I've run that, I thought, well, it must be good. We've been shipping saws, you guys know that. Started it up before I was going to put it in the box. Guess what? Intake leak. Again. So, I'm going to carry you on the journey of why these stupid things leak. This is a 61. The 61, 66, 266, 268, 272, all are fairly much the same design. The blocks look a little different between some of them. Now, this one obviously has got the 272 top end, excuse me. And so it's one of them things that no big deal. You just change your intake block to the 272 and you run the 272 carburetor. You have to run, whatever the body of the saw is, you have to run the air horn, okay, from the saw. Okay, and so that's that. Then you get to keep your original top, which you have to have. You have to have that. And so away we go on this. Let's find out why this leaking. Oh, the symptoms. Let's talk about that. Doesn't want to idle. You adjust it. It'll idle. You can get it where it does. This particular one with an intake leak, you got to lean it out. Sometimes you got to rinse them. It's erratic adjustment. Hard to adjust. Okay? And especially, like this has got a free-flowing exhaust now, obviously. You get that little, after you let off a little bit of a pop, that's a sure sign. 372s are known for leaking too. So I'll tell you what we'll do. If we got a can there, we got a can of that brake parts cleaner with the red holes on it.
Oh, that one with the red hose.
Might be outside. I wasn't going to show you this, but I will, okay? And the thing is, you take your brake parts cleaner and you spray underneath, on top, right around that plastic right there. That's what you do. And if that saw quits, it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. It's real easy. I'm going to move you down here so you can work with me while we visit. And we'll get you set right up where you can see. Now, a neat little trick, because this is a 390 carburetor, which I'm going to put on Hogan's saw, they're offset bolt holes. Okay, if you use a ball Allen, these are 4mm, you can reach in and get that left side bolt. Okay, now what this might be is it might be the carb body gasket, not between the block and the cylinder on this one, because quite honestly, I eliminated the gasket and I made sure that that I used the good motorcycle engine assembly silicone, real light. No, don't plug your hole in your little plastic block. Now this one has an aftermarket block, because I have a difficult time finding the OEM blocks, honestly. And, but they're not all created equal. Yeah, some of them come from Taiwan, some from China. I think some come from Italy, but I'm not positive. The darker colored ones. What's really neat is you can use this one on this side. It works pretty good. Okay, we know our bolts are coming out. Okay, I use a screwdriver. Get right in between that body and just push that fuel line. Just push it off. Don't pull it off. It works like a Chinese handcuff. Just push it off. We got her loosened up. Now we just got to get her the rest of the way. And we'll get her choke off. I'm constantly dropping things. I swear I am. I need a babysitter. That's what I need.
Fit in that hose.
No, that's too big. Just get one of them smaller Allen wrenches. I got one right here. This is one of them wants to keep right on peeing, so I just get another Allen wrench, because that's what I got. Plug the fuel line. Okay, now you got the little linkage right there. That just pops straight up out of that. Okay. It be a little gentle. That plastic's old, you know. Don't get wild with it. And you might as well take it right out the body of your carb and put it in your little cup. Okay, so now we got the fuel line, choke, and throttle off. Now we'll go ahead and finish taking the carb off. Yeah, I got an idea. This one was doing a funky chicken on me here. Now, some of these mounts for the air cleaner, like this one in particular, can be a little goofy. I'll tell you why. You end up, even the original screws are too short to go this block sticker. Okay? But with the 272 screws, you end up playing the old washer trick. So you have to get that figured out, how long that washer's got to be. Well, you know what? It just might have been this gasket right here. See, just a little tear by that hole. Just might. I don't think that block was leaking. Okay. I ordered an OEM block for this because I was tired of messing with it, and I'll probably put it on. It'll be here Friday. And I think the gasket will be here Saturday or Monday for that. But I decided I was going to go ahead and take the time and try to get the OEM stuff. Yeah, this clearly wasn't right. Let me get this gasket off. Now, that's funny. I presume that why some of these gaskets fail is you can run them, and then eventually what it does is it builds up enough vacuum pressure that it sucks that gasket. And now I know for a fact this was a brand new gasket when I put it on, but it looks to me like it was sucking. Now this is an aftermarket gasket. Beware of them. The bugger is, it is so difficult to get the OEM gaskets. I think in person it would be better off. I've been plagued with these saws for a bit, off and on for over the years. You'll get a whole bunch of them that everything's right, and then all of a sudden you get one that just plain, it just doesn't wanna cooperate. Well, we can't send saws out that way. Now we might as well cover a couple things while we're right here. This 390 carburetor is really an interesting little project, and we got to know what works and what don't. Actually, this one right here is an X-Torque car. No, it's a 390. Okay, it's a newer 390. I seen the locks right there, so it's a newer 390 carburetor, and it's not going on this saw. I'm just showing you because I'm putting one of these on Hogan's saw. Now, these saws pick that vacuum up, and that little hole right there, you don't see that little slot there. That's where they pick it up, right off the intake. I propose that what we need to do is pick the vacuum up from a different spot. One of you guys was asking, where are you going to pick that up from? I'm going to pick that up right down there. Right in there. All I'm going to do is get a little piece of small brass tubing. I'm actually going to use one off an old 372 carcass. It's got that little bend and get me out from under that cylinder. Measure it. Bore a hole. Get my tube in there. Now when you do that, you got to have the cylinder off. You want to make sure you got a rag under there to catch anything. Now a little trick for when you're doing something like this, get a little grease on that rag. Or your paper towel. We'll probably use a paper towel. And just get that up in that area, and then when you bore down through there with your drill bit, it'll catch any filings, and you make sure you don't get any filings. These modifications are nicer, like if you're doing a complete build where you put new bearings and everything in, they're nicer to do when the cases are split. But you don't have that option, so you work with what you got. That's what you do. But now, the next thing we need to know is the throttle rod. Okay, that throttle rod goes in that little hole right there. Okay. See that little hole right there in that 390 carb? That's the one you use. Yeah, and that works. That really does. Okay. What you don't need is the 372 and the 390. Like if you use an X-Torque carb on one of these, which I don't recommend, it's not a big enough saw. Even 272 ain't. That's a big carburetor, X-Torque is. You don't need that. We don't. You don't have to take it off either. That's what's kind of neat. And choke butterfly. Okay, choke butterfly goes the right direction. I just verified that. So that's kind of cool. So this carburetor does fit. right in there. It really does. It'll fit in there just like that. I guess we are taking that off. This might not be something we can do, guys. I'll tell you why. It's because it looks to me like that I'm going to have an interference issue with my choke rod that runs through there. I might have to work that out. Maybe I can use a choke rod out of one of these. This is something that's going to be a later video, it looks like. But I got Hogan's secret muffler done. And we are going to test it out. No, I'm not showing it on this channel. Okay, you bear with me while I get this camera put in another spot. We'll visit a minute. 15 minutes of fun already, you believe it? Got y'all wobbled around there. Okay, that's good. Now, this design saw is a lovely, lovely design. They're lightweight, 272, any of these. They were a real favorite of mine. They really were. The drawback always has been that intake on these. But Husqvarna never had that figured out. Stihl never had the problem with the intakes. Not much. Once in a blue moon, one of them boots would break, but it was rare. It was really rare. Now, while we're talking about some of the problems these saws done, I got Daryl Burgess' saw. He told me don't send that. He can be home next week. So we're not sending it. It's ready to go about. And we do have to pull a carburetor. It takes about 10 minutes. And you see it's pretty easy. The needle is a little high. Now, a condition of your needle being high, there's that little lever that's in there. We've shown it in previous videos, and there's all kinds of them out there on the internet. It'll tend to be rich idling. It's getting too much fuel. But it'll go ahead and finally clean out when it's running. But it does make it a little harder to adjust. I like them either dead level to slightly up when you adjust them and them carbs. You just go back. If you want to know what that looks like, go back and look at the video, 7 or 8 videos ago, where we did that to one of them carbs. It might have been a little longer than that. I don't know. Okay, now, this is one saw that doesn't want to leave. But we are going to force it. We're going to make this good. I won't send it till it's right. I just won't. Things happen by accident enough. You don't need to say, well, that'll be all fine. It'll adjust. This one does adjust. But it was just enough of a leak that I didn't like it. And I think you could have got away with it. Nah, you ain't getting away with nothing in this world. You know that. The second one, which you're going to be seeing later in the week on this channel, finally, is Luke's Blue Thunder G660 build. He sent me a challenge. I know that can be a challenge. When you take a Holtzforma saw and you want to make that reliable, you're throwing away a lot of parts. Well, in his case, I don't think his saw run a lot, but it was obvious it had been run. And the bearing went out. One of the bearings went out on the crank, which happens. Yeah, okay, I understand that. Well, the rod bearing was loose, too. And it was real loose. So we went ahead and we ordered a good crank, put the good bearings and seals in it, started right from the bottom. First, I'm going to be doing the 3rd cylinder on this saw. I've done 2 already and had problems every time. And I got caught in a hook, and that's on me. The base of the saw, where the cylinder mounts, is tapered. It had a little tilt. That piston would not run straight up and down in that cylinder. Okay? Would not. And I didn't like that. That was a bad deal. So I dug out his OEM cylinder. After the second one, I realized it. And, that's money right out the window every time. But I got two that I can put on other saws once I find one with appropriate deck height. And I've got two or three of my own that I want to do something with. I can use them there, I think. Or if one of yours, if it happens to match up right. So we took care of that problem. We got that straightened out. Base is dead level now. Piston goes up, down, straight. So then the next thing that happens. It free ports. That means when the piston's at top dead center, it doesn't close the bottom of the exhaust. That means it's a free port. Well, they don't run for crap that way. That piston has got to close it. So I dig and I order cylinders and I order pistons and I finally come up with the right combination of something decent. He wants a good saw, long lasting, that will not free port. And so we got that figured. Okay, so we're going to start right from scratch again. Like I said, you don't make out on all saws. This one has been a nightmare. But he gave me that challenge, and I'm up for it. He's getting a good saw. It's not in the time frame he wanted, or me, but he's getting a good saw. We're upgrading the clutch, ignition, rotating assembly complete, better piston and cylinder, and there's just so many things you got to look at when you want a dependable saw. So when you buy a Chinese kit, it is great fun putting them together. I remember when I first started messing, I said, "Oh, goodness sakes, if this thing works out, this would really change the world." And the first one I did was a 372, and I put it together using all the parts, and got it run pretty good. I was like, yeah, I mean, it wasn't exactly right. It wasn't exactly what I was used to, but it was pretty close. It really was. I didn't port it. I didn't do anything to it. And I had it around here, and I was trimming brush with it. It was fine. I got into some big old oak. Really started putting a load on it. There's a little bit of heat. And, oh yeah, it coughed. It did major. It did. Yeah. About tossed that piston right out of it. It looked horrible. It's like, well, my goodness sakes, what happened there? So I tore it apart. And I said, I'm just going to put a decent cylinder piston. And I did. Next time around, I run it. So, oh, now we got something. I think I'll port it. Well, I took it apart, poured it, and the rod has a slot on them. On the bottom, apparently they thought it all oil. The rod's too soft. What it does, the big end of the rod got bigger, and it was real loose. Like, well, enough of that. And I had 4 or 5 of these old 372s around here that they just got busted by a tree. And I took a crank out of one of them, and we ordered bearings. In fact, I don't think I did. I think on that one right there, we used the same bearings. I did put seals in it. I put the darn thing together. Well, then the coil failed. One of the bar studs stripped. Well, you can change the bar studs on them without taking that saw apart, but you better get your act together to do it. Well, I learned to use the OEM bar studs, are a really high quality one if you're going to use them kits. And the steel's not so bad because they're screw in. You get them from the outside, but the Huskies, no. So anyway, to make a long story short, we're building him a Husqvarna that's going to be reliable. It really is. But as you know, when you crack one thing, sometimes you make something else bad happen. And I'll tell you what that was. We finally got a piston with a long enough skirt to close the exhaust on the bottom when it's at top dead center. A piston is. Well, guess what? Then the skirt didn't fit down through the saw. Okay? It didn't fit down inside because it was too long. It isn't big enough. So, the next thing that has to happen is we have to stuff that with towels, with a layer of grease, and we have to take that. I'm not splitting that. No. And we got to take out It looks like just the smallest amount, just about scuffed the paint off, is all, for it to fit. But we're going to do that. I don't know if you want to see that, what I'm doing to correct this on video or not. I'm kind of tired of making videos on this, thinking of this one particular saw, thinking, well, this is the answer, and it's failed. Okay, we have had 5 failures right in a row. I ran into a problem with the chain brake. I ordered a real good clutch for it, trying to use the original chain brake for a Husqvarna. Round and round it went. I finally got a clutch that works with all of that. So I'll share that with you if you're interested. But I'll probably share the porting with you, and I'll tell you why. Is some of you are interested in the 66 Magnum and MS 660s. I'll probably share that porting with you, and we'll get to the root of that. Yeah, you know what I might do, because I can pretty clearly see that intake is really seriously sealed. There's not even a question against the cylinder. I do have, I think, one of these round gaskets that are OEM, and I'm going to see if that'll correct our problem. But it was pretty obvious that right there between them 2 holes, that really sucked on that cylinder. I mean, it's pretty obvious, or sucked on that gasket. And I really don't want to use on this side anything but a gasket if I can help it. But I see another problem. There's a slot that picks that vacuum up, and it looks like, no, I'm not going to mess around with it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this right. Robert, sorry, that's the way it is. Nothing I can do about it. We're going to do it right. We're going to put the OEM stuff on it. When you got a problem, throw money at it. It goes away eventually. Yeah, that'll give your problem away to somebody else, you know. But I want to tell you something that happened. This is a story that happened yesterday. So, you get a little true story that's really kind of different. As you know, here, just like a lot of places, they started to open up some businesses. And so Colin and I decided that, well, we're going to go to this one shop we know about that we haven't been able to go to because they opened up. So we did. It's 30 miles away. Got the old 1-ton truck, dually, you know, and with a regular pickup box with them stupid fender flares on it that you can't get nothing out of the side of it, and no tailgate on it because we've been hauling hay. So we get up there to this little shop 30 miles away. We walk in there and we're looking at things. It's like, boy, this is grand. We're out in the public again. Yeah, we're wearing our freaking mask. Tired of that. This girl comes walking in. She's in her late 30s. She says, hey, who owns that white 1-ton dually out there? And I says, I do. Why? You want to buy it? No, not exactly. She says, but did you know you got a cat in your truck? I go, what? You got a cat in your truck? Cat? No. So I went out there, look, Colin's doing his thing, carrying something to the counter. I like them old shops and small shops. They're fun to be in. I went out there. You know what? There's this great big old tiger tomcat with white paws, curled up right up in the dead center of the bed, right up next to the cab. She says, is that your cat? And I look and I says, Chester. Outside cat, you know. Yep, my cat. That foolish animal went ahead and he rode 30 miles in the back of a pickup truck. And he didn't move. And now to make this even better, my knees have been blistering, hurting. I've been walking with a cane last week or so. Our weather patterns have changed up and down. Well, there's these two darn boxers in the pickup next to me, just throwing spit all over the side window, barking. They don't want me in the back of that truck. Well, I climb a dumb butt in the back of that truck, and I'm petting this cat. And I'm waiting for Colin to get out of the store. Well, I had one thing I didn't want was him to duck and run and just leap while them dogs just raising that. So I finally gets the cat gathered up and put him in a truck. And now mine's a club cab, so it's got a back seat. And he's back there riding. He just chilled out. He's just all happy. Everything's great. And we get on the 4-lane, and, well, you know how it brump every time he hit them bridges. No, he didn't like that. So he went and gets half under the frickin' seat and hiding in one thing. Well, we got him home anyways. But poor Chester, I couldn't believe that happened, and that cat didn't go anywhere. Isn't that funny? Okay, that's about it for right now. Garth Land. When I was sitting there waiting for Colin to get out of the store, Garth Land, a subscriber, walked up to me. He says, "You don't know me, but I know you." Garth, how you doing, buddy? I should have done that in the beginning of the video. It's got where a lot of people actually walk up to me in my own area. Quite a few. It happens all the time now. I think it's so cool. So if you see me out in public, you just walk up. You ain't bothering me none. People, have a great day. Take it easy. Another video tomorrow. Goodbye.